whole damn system is guilty as hell. Just for a minute. So rise up, resist, no killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Rise up, resist, no killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Rise up, resist, no killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Rise up, resist. No killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. So, as I said, I'm here with Causa Justa, and Causa Justa is an organization based out of Oakland and San Francisco that works with black and brown communities to fight displacement at a local and at a global level. And we see displacement as being driven by development, by neoliberal policies, by neoliberal development that are only, whose only purpose is to further capitalism, to further development in our home countries, to displace our people, to force them to migrate, to force them to die crossing borders out of hunger, out of thirst, to be exploited in this country, to be exploited in their working conditions, in their housing, by their employers, and then be killed by the cops. So what I wanted to share is that we see the global displacement and those policies that happen by governments like the U.S. deciding to move into our home countries and displace our people, the same thing that they're doing here in San Francisco and Oakland through gentrification, and using the state, using the military, and using the police here to further enforce that displacement and to enforce the safety of those new people coming in, and to enforce the safety of those corporations in our home countries displacing our people from their lands. And we are here to say that we've had enough, that there can be development for our people, there can be housing for our people, that we do have the right to stay in our home countries, that we have the right to stay and not be forced to migrate, that we have the right to stay in our lands, to cultivate our lands, to live in our communities and not be forced to migrate, and we have the right to live in our neighborhoods without being killed. And we have the right to live in our neighborhoods without our rents going up, without being displaced by our landlords, without having the sheriffs and the cops come to enforce that displacement, and without having them killing us on the streets.
That's right.
And so we are here to stand in solidarity with the family of Alex Nieto and Amilcar and all those families who've lost loved ones to the violence, to state violence, to San Francisco Police Department violence, to government-sanctioned violence in our home countries, and that solidarity extends to our organizing day to day to fight to stay in our neighborhoods, to fight to stay in our home countries, and to fight to stay in our jobs with dignity, justice, and a living wage. And that we're not going to stop organizing until we get that. That our people are not going to stop until we get justice for Amilcar and Alex Nieto and all those murdered by the police. And that we're here in solidarity with you all. And that we're going to continue to rise up, resist, no killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Rise up, resist, no killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Rise up, resist, no killer cops, no jails. The whole damn system is guilty as hell.
Well, what I understand, I really didn't know him, but I've heard people say that he was a student at City College, that he was really involved in the community there. So it's a loss of a student that was an activist at our community college, a person that lived in this community and was involved in many facets as a member of the community. Shopped at a local taqueria, bought his burrito, was on his way to work, was trying to make his life better by getting educated, and City College is a wonderful institution that provides that venue for poor people, working people.
My name is Bill Morgan. It's part of a whole movement to dispossess working people here on the street by shooting them down, taking away their institutions that would help them advance and get a better life. It's part of a whole grand movement, and it's worldwide.
And what should labor be doing about it? What should unions be doing?
Labor should be here. There should be unions here. There should be people here demonstrating and making connections with these brave young people who are demonstrating and blocking the door to the police station.
I was just thinking when you came earlier that where are his buddies, the the security guards. You know, I know SEIU has been organizing security guards, and I just wondered if he, because I really don't know him that well, if he was a member of a union as a security guard. And the little that I know about him, I knew he was sympathetic towards unions, and this, he was, in a way, the person that unions should be organizing for, the low-wage worker that is still trying to survive in a city such as San Francisco. As a mother of young people that have graduated from college and cannot find work that is suitable to the education they have, they've had to take low-wage jobs and have had to survive on the margins. When I was going to college, college was practically free, and I could work and support myself and go to college. I didn't have to compromise my future by taking huge loans. Well, my children have had to compromise their future by taking huge loans, and they can't find work suitable. You know, they've had to take low-wage jobs. They are living in, you know, with other people. They haven't achieved their dream of having their own apartment, having their own car. You know, they've had to live on the margins, although they have thousands of money that they owe the banks for an education that I pushed them to get. You know, as a mother, I really struggled to get my kids through public school and to get them to go to college, because this was their ticket. This was their way out of poverty. And it hasn't proved to be true. And I feel, I hope, and I was crying earlier because of the young people being out here, and they're claiming their future, as they should. You know, they're brave to take on the streets. And that's what it takes, is, you know, that brave youth power to change. And they are changing things. I'm, you know, just being here, I can sense the power that they have, and I'm so proud of them.
San Francisco, not just in Oakland, not just in Missouri or New York, but all across the nation. We have to start questioning the type of system that we live in. We have to start questioning whether we're looked at as human beings, and what type of system allows us to be dehumanized, where we can be killed even worse than dogs, because even dogs aren't being shot on the street. Human beings are being shot on the streets, right? And that only happens when you live under an occupied military force that's really here to spread imperialism, really here to spread capitalism all over the world and steal resources, right? Our brothers and sisters are sent to start wars all over the world, not for the benefit of our security, but for the benefit of the rich. The oligarchs should really control this country, right? Who really send us out there not because they care about our safety, but they care about the safety of their riches, the safety about their oil, their water, and other natural resources that are taken straight from our people in the Philippines, in Mexico, Central America, Southeast Asia, right? Africa, all of these places. We have to ask ourselves, do we really have freedom in this country? Do we really have democracy when the two political parties that you vote for are controlled by the rich, right? When more than 40% of our congressmen, of our people who are elected officials, are multimillionaires. Do they really know anything about ending poverty? Do they really know anything about what it is to bury your brothers and sisters who have been killed at the hands of the police when they live in gated communities protected by the police? Right? What do they know about suffering? What do they know about injustice when they don't have to spend their times on the street? The reality is that all of us here are 2 paychecks away from being homeless, and that's the reality, right? Many of us are living, working, whether it be in a nonprofit sector, whether it be as teachers, and we're scraping by. Many of our family members are living in a 1-bedroom apartment with multiple families because they can't afford to live, to have put food on the table, or to have the basic necessities that human beings deserve, right? Food, water, shelter. Those are basic necessities that we do not have the privilege to, right? And then we've seen in other countries of our brothers and sisters in third world countries where the fight for those resources are becoming a privilege, right? Where water is no longer free, right? where the right to work is no longer free, where our brothers and sisters are making less than $1 a day to make products for us here as consumers in this country, right? So we have to get down to the reality that the police are no longer the police. They're in the occupied military in our communities, right? Not to protect us, but to protect the resources of the rich. And we have to understand that as poor people, as working class people, that we must resist in all forms, right? That today is not only about justice for our brothers and sisters who are dying every single day, but it's also about justice for humanity, for our dignity. That we will no longer take living as slaves and working for the rich, but that we will work for our brothers and sisters and work to build up our communities. Where we start to control our education system, where we start to control our economic system, where workers have rights and we're able to organize ourselves, where we no longer have to listen and sell ourselves short to work for somebody who's just benefiting the rich, right? So I've been a long time worker organizer. I'm from the peninsula, I'm from South San Francisco, and you know, that work is very much hard. The people who live out in the suburbs are dealing with the same things you guys are dealing here, right here in these communities, urban cities, right? We're dealing with gentrification, right? Where the cost of a 2-bedroom apartment for a family is reaching up to $3,000 a month, right? We're getting to mortgage levels of trying to find somewhere to live. And where are we gonna live, right? We've been pushed out to Oakland. We've been pushed out to Pittsburgh, Antioch. We've been pushed out to all these areas, but at what point do we say enough is enough? At what point do we say you can no longer kill our people? You can no longer pass laws without our approval. Today is about standing up for justice in our way. We see that the court system has not given us justice. We see that we always come to the court system and there's never an indictment. There's never anybody prosecuted for the wrongs of what they're doing to our people like Alex Nieto, to the people like Mike Brown. We don't see that type of justice. So today is the beginning and the continuation of seeing justice in our ways. We're holding the trial today, right? We're holding the microphone. We're holding the space because whose streets are these? Our streets! You fight racism with solidarity, right? And that's what we have here today, right? Solidarity.
My name's Ramses Teo Nichols. I'm a labor organizer and also live here in San Francisco.
And what happened here today? Why did this rally take place?
What happened today is a lot of community, both labor and community activists and organizers and folks from all around San Francisco came together to put a statement out that we want accountability from the police and we want to stop to the murders happening in our community, specifically how we've seen a trajectory of police killing Black and Latino youth, in particular with investigations that are questionable that usually end up with no indictment. When to us it's evident that there's enough evidence to prosecute people for the murders, specifically around Alex Nieto and Amilcar and O'Shane Evans. I mean, it's just absurd that this is happening and that we're hearing little to nothing basically from the mayor, who's completely in charge of the police department. We're hearing nothing from the district attorney, who decided not to indict, right? We're not hearing yet anything on this case with Alex Nieto from the federal government, because we want a federal investigation as well. But more than anything, today was a people's trial to hold them accountable and to find them guilty like they should be found guilty, because the system is not doing that at all. Even when there's enough evidence to find them guilty and try to have some kind of change happen or some kind of justice, it's not happening, so people are taking it upon themselves to do that today.
I think part of it is racism.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, from my personal experience and talking to other Black and brown folks, it's scary to get pulled over by police. It's scary to get harassed by police, you know, because there's so many people getting shot and harassed and jailed and racially profiled. That hasn't gone anywhere. That's still happening. So it's largely racial. That's why Black Lives Matter is an important movement that we also back, and it's part of today as well, not just locally but nationally. This has to stop.
And militarization of the police, do you see that as a problem? How the police have become more and more militarized?
Oh yeah, of course. That, and then how they open the doors to the tech industry to move in here. You know, like local governments, like more to the police, more to the private companies, to the super rich, the 1%, and then when they're murdering our, you know, Black and brown youth, you know, and others, right? Like in working communities, what's the response? Oh, you know, we just didn't find evidence and that's all there's to it. Like, that's not enough. And people are saying that's not enough and we're fed up with the situation. We're drawing a line here and we're starting to take matters into our hand by starting to do this kind of acts, right? And folks chain themselves today, putting their bodies on the line to express just on what level they're ready to like try to make some change happen here. I don't know what the position overall of the labor movement is. I know there's positions by certain unions. I know the union I'm a part of, SCIU 1021, is always trying to challenge that. We challenged the Twitter tax cut when it came out several years ago. You know, even though it was very unpopular with City Hall for us doing that, but here we are years later, you know, 1021, you know, members and also other parts of labor and community activists who basically are now like, we told you so. This was going to have a highly negative impact on the city. These rich corporations don't need no tax breaks. You know, if they truly want to be here and benefit from what the city has that we built, you know, as people who've been here for decades and working our butts off to make the city what it is, then they have to follow the exact rules that are placed in order. They should not get no subsidy. They should not get any specific breaks. We're not getting any breaks. Why are they getting the breaks? And then we have now this situation where more police harassment is on the rise for a lot of our activists here who are telling us on the streets that police harassment's on the rise, shootings obviously are on the rise, right? So why is that happening at the same time as this wealth that's coming in from outside the city, right? Like, where is that being questioned? Where is that being computed, you know, by the mayor, by our district attorney, by the people at City Hall? We don't see it's happening. That's why you had a couple hundred people out here taking this action today.
And privatization of public services and public housing, where do you stand on that? The mayor wants to privatize more and more of city services, outsource.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, like, when there are services that need to be met, when people need to be served and like helped out, you know, that needs to happen. But if it's going to happen at the expense of good paying jobs, and, you know, especially when the city has the ability to keep those jobs, you know, and keep people with a good paying job and a pension and everything, that needs to happen. That needs to be priority as much as providing housing, further housing and so on. What we're seeing in privatization is the unwillingness of local government to actually use the resources that already exist within local government and the institutions like the Department of Public Health, Human Services, Public Housing. They're not actually putting more effort into those entities to meet the demands, the growing demands in the community. What they're doing is by attrition, cutting what's happening now and then putting the contracts out in the private sector, and that's where they're robbing us again right there.
And they rejected an increase, a salary increase for the nonprofit workers, saying they didn't have enough money for that.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous that they do that, right? And then we're like some of the most obvious workers who are like one paycheck missing from ending up on the street and receiving the same services, or potentially in jail, you know, for, you know, a lot of folks have to do, you know, hustle on the streets and do all kinds of things to stay, you know, to stay alive, right?
What is the solution? I mean, there are more and more homeless, working class people can't afford to get houses, apartments in San Francisco and many other places. What's the solution to homelessness?
Create more affordable housing, right? And actually what some activists here in the past have called is liberate housing that's empty, that people are not using at all, which is a big problem in the city, right? Private property has become a big problem in places like this, where there's enough housing actually for everybody, but there's a lack of will both by our local government and also by the really wealthy people who own a lot of housing to actually open it up, you know, and allow people to be able to afford it and live in it, right?
What do you think about the $1 million condos that are being built, all these multi-million-dollar condos in San Francisco? I mean, it seems like
if they're
there's a lot of new housing for the very wealthy.
Yeah, right? That's I think that's being basically promoted by the same folks who are prioritizing the wealthy being here, like the tech industry, but not actually prioritizing the people who already live here, right? Many of them who are not homeowners, but have been working all their lives, many of them born and raised, a lot of them who are here today, some of them who chained themselves to the gate, you know, to the police station today, and they're not getting the same kind of breaks, you know, while developers are getting the green light to do all kinds of things and develop and mess up the market to the point where, like, it's unaffordable for most of us now, right? Yeah, and we got to think beyond San Francisco, because this is happening in other cities surrounding San Francisco too.
FTP can have so many meanings. It can stand for fuck the police, fuck that puto, fight the power, or for the people. But it has me thinking, is the world we live in real? Is it alive? Or is it just a nightmare that I replay every day? This world is so unfair, so cruel, where only the few rule. Race structures known as disruptors, I pinch myself to the point of blood as I feel my heart flood with anger, sadness. I feel my eyes burn, waiting for my turn in the line for the second crumb of the week. My knees weak in this world, nothing is on fleek. The only real is the reek of injustice. Blood and tears, our fears won't go away. This system has tears like a cake, but it tastes disgusting. Gut crunching, eye burning disgust. This means it's a must. Stop believing in a pinch and wake the fuck up.
I have a sister come up from Bliss. Her name is Marisol. Give it up for Marisol. Give it up for all of you. Okay, a little louder though. I need some love and motivation and inspiration. May the force of my ancestors, your ancestors, our ancestors be with you today and always. I'm gonna do some spoken word in Spanish. Levante la mano quien habla español. Okay, if you don't know Spanish, get close to somebody that just raised their hands and they're gonna be translating for you.
Translate for you who don't speak Spanish.
All right? Aquí llegaron las hormigas. Vamos conquistando tierras, nuestras tierras, invisibles, silenciosas y simultáneas. Toda la reocupación es subterránea, sin disparar al aire, sin tirar misiles, sin tener que matar gente usando proyectiles. La guerra la peleamos sin usar fusiles. De bloque en bloque, como los albañiles. Han tratado de pararnos un par de vaqueros, pero ya está construido nuestro hormiguero. Somos muchas hermanos, hermanas, con muchos primos. La familia es grande porque nos reproducimos. Desplazamos al vaquero de sus oficinas porque trabajamos a tiempo completo, sin propina. No somos bienvenidas, pero como quiera entramos, te picamos y te castigamos. Cuando más te confías, las hormigas te engañan, atacan en equipo como las pirañas. Aunque sean pequeñas, gracias a la unión, todas juntas formamos un camión. Pobre del vaquero que nos subestime, cuando se duerme se le viene la colonia encima. Por eso los vaqueros en todas las esquinas los tenemos comiendo comida latina. Las hormigas pueden contra cualquier gigante, entran por la trompa de cualquier elefante, los derrumban sin que la sangre les salpique, ácido fórmico pa' que les pique. No te confíes si la picada no te arde, la quemazón de la picada se siente más tarde. Aunque tengas botas vaqueras y sombrero, hay muchas hormigas y pocos vaqueros. Los humildes se comieron a los nobles. Para el 2020 vamos a hacer el doble. Aquí no hay racismo, aquí no se trata de raza. Si trabajo aquí, pues aquí tengo mi casa. Ser imparcial, de eso es que se trata. Hay que compartir los dulces de la piñata. Ahora si el vaquero viene y nos maltrata, puede ser que a las hormigas les salga lo de Zapata. En equipo se resuelve cualquier contratiempo. Cuando te picamos, picamos al mismo tiempo. Sobre nuestra unidad no debe haber preguntas. Frente al peligro, las hormigas mueren juntas. Un país durmiendo es un país desierto. Este gobierno se asusta cuando me despierto. Pueden tirarse hasta los federales. Somos 600 millones, sin contar los que no se pueden contar. Entre las patas nunca escondo el rabo. Prefiero morir como rebelde que vivir como un esclavo. Apuesto, y eso va para ellos, apuesto que los tuyos se rinden primero, porque los soldados míos no pelean por dinero. No le tengo miedo a las confrontaciones, porque yo me crié con invasiones. Y como las hormigas, si tengo mala suerte, defiendo mi hormiguero hasta la muerte. So, thank you all for being here. Sorry, my throat is a little sore from chanting since 7 in the morning. But we just want to highlight and echo everything that folks have said already, especially around the importance of building community, building relationships between each other, solidarity between our communities. And we believe that fighting under the leadership of the folks mostly and directly impacted
by the different systems of oppression, colonialism, capitalism, imperialism, heteropatriarchy, white supremacy, fighting under the leadership of working class, queer and trans, black, brown and indigenous women. That's gonna not only have the leadership that we need, but it's gonna fight the struggle that is gonna improve conditions, not only for those folks, but for everybody. So within our communities, we need to be organizing, talking to our neighbors, right? Building people's institutions, not only actions that last one day and then we forget about the struggle. We need to be building long-lasting institutions, alternatives for our people. And within our communities, we need to be challenging the different forms of oppression. Within our organizations, our families, our neighbors, we need to be challenging white supremacy and what that means in each of our communities. As an indigenous and brown woman, I need to be challenging colorism and black racism within my community. Within our communities, we need to be challenging patriarchy. Looking who are we throwing down for? Who are we investing in developing their leadership so they can lead our struggle? That's right. Power to the people. Gracias. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose city? Our city. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose city? Our city.
Now I can see more clearly with my blindfold off. As they say, justice is blind. Even here on Valencia and 17th, right here in the heart of the mission, the displacement capital of the world, ground zero for working people of SF who are fighting to defend their work and their lives. Here we are in front of the Mission Police Station. I am the Honorable Justice of the streets. We are here today to give justice to where justice is deserved. Today's court case is a case of the murder of Alex Nieto, a San Francisco native, who 1 year ago today lost his life to the hands of SFPD under rather mysterious circumstances. We chose this public location to hold the court case since this case has now made its way to the San Francisco courthouse. The people of San Francisco demanded a fair trial. Since our demands, the city did not meet. Justice will be brought to the streets. What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
¿Qué queremos?
Justicia!
¿Cuándo?
Ahora!
Today, we'll be holding a court case, but unlike one you've ever seen before. Today, we'll be holding the People's Court, the real People's Court, where justice is not blind, and you, the audience, El Pueblo de San Francisco, the people of San Francisco, will be the ultimate judge of justice. Welcome, everyone, to the real People's Court. We'll commence the trial. Today with us are the defendants, Officer Nathan Chu, Officer Roger Morse, Lieutenant Jason Sawyer, and Officer Richard Schiff, and their lawyer. We have the prosecutor del Pueblo and our lovely audience and jury. Order in the court. Let us begin with opening statements. But before we do that, who was Alex Nieto?
Your Honor and members of the People's Jury, Alex Nieto was born and raised in Bernal Heights and Mission District. He was a beloved son and brother, and an active, peaceful member of the community. He was a full-time student at City College of San Francisco, earning a criminal justice degree. He was also a full-time security guard at El Toro nightclub, provider for his family, practicing Buddhist pacifist, and an intern at the Youth Guidance Center's probation department. He was a leader in preventative youth violence and campaign volunteer in federal and local elections. Overall, Alex was a model citizen and leader in his community. Alex dreamed of helping guide youth in a positive direction. He aspired to become a probation officer. He had a gigantic heart, and everyone loved him for his intellect, gentleness, and kindness. Alex Nieto presente.
Presente.
the people of San Francisco, members of the jury, Your Honor, I'm here to defend the poor, defenseless defendants who serve our community every day. On the evening of March 21st, 2014, these 4 officers right here responded to a 911 call of a man sitting on a bench on Bernal Hill. These 4 men risk their lives every day to defend the caller. They responded to the scene, ready for combat, because their life was at risk. So they unloaded 58 shots, 16 of which hit Alex.
What was this man doing on Bernal?
Hold on. It says, according to my statement, that this man Your Honor, was eating a burrito.
Well, why wasn't he wearing his uniform if he was a security guard?
Your Honor, he was wearing his uniform. On Friday evening, March 21st, 2014, Alejandro Alex Nieto, 28 years old, was shot and killed by the San Francisco Police Department police officers on Bernal Hill Park without justification. The officers are here before you on trial for the murder of community leader Alex Nieto, Bernal Hill resident.
Does the defense have anything to say?
Yes, I do, Your Honor, and the people of San Francisco. So a dog walker called 911 because he was suspicious of this young Latino working class man on Bernal Heights. We believe he was acting erratically.
Who was acting erratically? The officers or Mr. Nieto?
Your Honor, we'd like to present a witness.
Please approach the bench. What did you see, witness?
Your Honor, I saw Alex. He wasn't threatening at all. He just seemed like a guy eating a burrito.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. In the 911 call and in dispatch audio, Alex is described as having his taser at his hip, never drawn. He is never described as threatening anyone. All the same, the defendants were sent to the hill to confront him. Alex Nieto posed no threat to anyone on Bernal Hill.
Witnesses say he was carrying a gun, Your Honor.
He was wearing a licensed holstered taser. That I may add, he was on his way to work as a security guard, which was part of his uniform.
Your Honor, my defendants confronted Alex as he was walking down the hill on his way out of the park and killed him with 2 sequential volley of shots. The first volley took him down to the ground. The second volley of shots over 10 shots killed him.
The judge and people's jury will deliberate. Is there any other evidence that prosecutors would like to present to the people?
The prosecution also has an issue with how the investigation was handled. 18 hours after Alex was killed, officers interrogated members of his family for 45 minutes and attempted a warrantless search of their home before they informed Alex's parents that SF police had killed their son. Officers also stole Alex's car from the street with keys retrieved from his body without notifying the family, nor requesting a warrant. They ripped apart the inside of the car and took Alex's iPad and security jacket. They have yet to say what else they took from the car. It took SFPD 9 months to release the names of the officers involved with the shooting. Since 2000, 97 SFPD officer-involved shootings have occurred. Of those 97 shootings, 33 people have died and 35 people have been injured. In each and every one of the officer-involved shootings wherein a person died, SFPD has found the use of deadly force within policy, even under the most questionable of circumstances. This is evidence of an official policy, entrenched culture, and posture of deliberate indifference toward protecting citizens' rights, and the resulting deaths and injuries as a result of SFPD's ratifying unconstitutional conduct of officers.
Is there any outstanding evidence that the defense would like to present to the jury?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. One quick fact that I completely forgot about. It says here that he was also eating some chips and some sunflower seeds.
Okay, we've heard both sides of the story, and I am ready to render my verdict.
All right, the honorable judge of the streets.
We, the people of San Francisco find the defendants Nathan Chu, Roger Morse, Jason Sawyer, Richard Schiff guilty of the murder of Alex Nieto on the evening of March 21st, 2014. We also find D.A. Gascon guilty of conspiracy, Chief Greg Schur also guilty of conspiracy and cover-up, and Mayor Lee guilty of silence. Remove their badges.
Tijeras.
Encendedor. Tíralas y písalas. Please remove the 4 officers from the premises. They are guilty.
That's justice. That's what's right. As I mentioned earlier, as moral people, if there's something being done wrong, we have a duty to make it right. And justice has been served.
Buena y respetaba todas las leyes que aquí en San Francisco, porque él amaba a mucho San Francisco. Gracias.
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Elvira Nieto.
Elvira Nieto. ¿Y el suyo?
Refugio Nieto.
And none of this smile would be possible if it wasn't for the hard work and the dedication of all of you here today. And for those participating in the creation of today's movement who weren't able to be here today, make some noise! Right? I am going to read our demands again because that is the reason that we are here. We want everybody to hear us, everybody in this area. We want all of fucking Valencia to fucking hear us, right? So here go our demands. Check it out. Paper difficulties. Sorry, I'm losing my word. So, we are here to stop police impunity and to start the accountability. Yeah? Yeah! Second demand. We want to fire and prosecute killer cops and their accomplices, right? Yeah! We want to be known that gentrification is violence against working, poor communities, right? Yeah! And we want a people's trial and justice on our own terms, right? Yeah! That is what we want. That is what we need. That is what we demand here, right? Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose city? Our city.
Adriana Camarena, and I'm a supporter for Justice for Alex Nieto. Today, it was a very interesting action. People got organized to occupy the police station for 4 hours and 15 minutes. 4 hours and 15 minutes because 415, love for San Francisco, but also because 415 is a code for public disturbance, and we wanted to disturb business as usual for the police. And so we were out here with the Nieto family, with O'Shane Evans' family, and also supporters of Amilcar Perez Lopez, who was very recently killed here in San Francisco. And so what happened is that we are calling for an end to police impunity. And there was, because we cannot get justice, a year after Alex died, and already with the decision from the DA not to indict him, there was a public trial, a people's public trial, of the 4 officers who killed Alex Nieto, who shot 59 bullets at him, hitting him with 14 to 15 of those bullets. We are specifically calling for Ed Lee to fire and call for the prosecution of the officers who killed Alex Nieto. If he does not ask for any consequence to this, for these officers, we have no confidence in the city government. JusticeForAlexNieto.org, that's number 4, JusticeForAlexNieto.org.